Thanks for watching us on YouTube. Did you know YouTube only keeps selective videos on its platform? So if you want to make sure you get the full picture, just subscribe to our newsletter. Go to newsletter.ntd.com and sign up. It's free.
California's governor is facing another lawsuit. This time, a board of education in Southern California is suing Newsom for the endless state of emergency. Here's NTD's Eileen Ang with more details.
The Orange County Board of Education, Children's Health Defense, and Children's Health Defense California chapter are collectively suing California Governor Gavin Newsom for what they are calling an endless state of emergency. They argue that his own statements prove his emergency powers are no longer justified.
Here, Governor Newsom has made numerous statements about the status of our state and the status of the COVID-19 danger here in the state of California. And he has very clearly articulated that the conditions have greatly become much better.
Newsom gave signs of improvement on Monday.
We saw a few weeks ago some troubling signs with case rates going up, positivity rates going up, hospitalizations and ICUs going up. That said, in the last 10 or 11 days, we've seen some stability, some good signs. That is good news. In fact, today, we lay claim to having the lowest positivity rate in the United States of America, 1.9%.
Under the law, a state of emergency should end at the earliest possible date that conditions warrant. Newsom extended the state of emergency until March 31st, 2022.
When you look at the state statute, the state requires imminent peril to the health and safety of the citizens here. How can the governor have any idea whether there is going to be imminent peril 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, or 3 months from now?
The plaintiffs argue the governor rules by fiat without giving people an opportunity to give opinions to balance out. They will be asking the court for an expedited trial. The governor's office has not responded to requests for comment. Eileen Ang, NTD News, California.
The CEO of JPMorgan cracked a joke about the Chinese Communist Party, but the fallout soon led him to issue an apology. NTD's Tiffany Meyer has more.
A joke went wrong. How long will the Chinese Communist Party last with all the crisis and tensions? JPMorgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon quipped that it likely wouldn't outlive his bank.
I made a joke the other day that I was just in Hong Kong that I made a joke that the Communist Party is celebrating its 100th year. So is JPMorgan. And I'll make you bet we last longer. I can't say that in China. They probably are listening anyway.
Dimon made the claim on Tuesday in a college panel discussion about the bank's China business. JPMorgan has been operating in China since 1921, the same year the Communist Party was founded there. This year, both JPMorgan and the CCP are celebrating their 100th anniversary. But will China see the funny side? Probably not. On Wednesday, the Chinese Foreign Ministry condemned the comment, saying, "Is it really necessary?" And Dimon backtracked. In a statement from the bank the same day, he said he regretted his remark. How did Dimon view China in the past? He once said, "China is one of the world's biggest opportunities." JPMorgan's China business is valued at nearly $20 billion. This is only a tiny part of the bank's balance sheet of nearly $3.8 trillion. But the bank is planning to expand further in China. Earlier this year, JPMorgan became the first foreign investment bank to fully own a security venture. Before that, all foreign financial institutions were required to have a Chinese partner. JPMorgan is known to have close ties with the ruling party in China, especially through its Sons and Daughters program. Between 2006 and 2013, JPMorgan hired about 100 interns and full-time employees with special backgrounds. Most of them were sons and daughters of Chinese high-level officials. Most of them were unqualified, but it was an important part of the bank's efforts to build relationships in China and win lucrative business. U.S. authorities described the program as corruption, plain and simple, and said it was corruptly influencing government officials. In 2016, JPMorgan got a $264 million fine. Italy's Prime Minister Mario Draghi has vetoed a Chinese company's takeover attempt in the country. This is the third time since his government took office in February. That's according to a Hong Kong filing by the rebuffed group, Zhejiang Jingshen Mechanical. The government was concerned a takeover of Applied Materials screen printing equipment business in Italy could have had consequences in the semiconductor sector. Italy reserves the right to use anti-takeover legislation to ward off undesired bids in industries deemed of strategic importance. Rome has stopped foreign interests in Italy 5 times since 2012, when its laws gave its government the power to do so. 4 of those episodes turned away Chinese bids.
Various counties in California continue to update their indoor face mask policies. Many are easing their policies for certain settings, but one county is requiring its residents to mask up, even at home.
California's Santa Cruz County recently reinstated its mask mandate for public and private settings. Based on the new mandate, private settings will now also include people's homes. People from different households are asked to mask up regardless of vaccination status. However, the county did not specify how it would reinforce masking inside private homes. The county health officials said the mask requirement will remain in effect indefinitely until it is amended, rescinded, or superseded. This decision comes as the county cites an increase in COVID-19 cases and hospitalizations in recent weeks. Meanwhile, Santa Cruz County's neighboring Monterey County lifted its indoor mask mandate last Tuesday.
Beijing's cover-up of a domestic scandal is backfiring. The international community is in uproar after a Chinese tennis star disappeared. She had just accused a senior Chinese official of sexual assault when she went missing. And now a former U.S. senator and a women's legislative caucus is weighing in.
China's communist regime is known for handling controversy quietly, but this time it could be losing control. That's after Chinese tennis star Peng Shuai publicly accused a top Chinese official of sexual assault earlier this month. She disappeared from the public eye soon after.
It's especially troubling and I think very frightening when the charge is leveled against a top Chinese official, a top government official. It becomes very difficult.
Romero is a former senator and author of a recently released book, Just Not That Likeable, the price women pay for gender bias. Posting the allegation on a Chinese social media platform, Peng accused Zhang Gaoli and his wife of forcing her to sleep with him. But her initial post was quickly removed. Zhang once served as a vice premier for China's communist ruling body. The accusation is unprecedented in the history of communist China.
I give, first of all, a great deal of credit to her for having had the courage in the first place to level the charge.
About 2 weeks later, the women's tennis organization said in a statement it was unable to reach Peng after multiple attempts. And 3 days later, a Chinese state-owned media outlet published a screenshot of an email Peng purportedly sent to WTA. In it, she claimed the accusation wasn't true, that she wasn't missing, and that she was safe. The media later released photos of Peng smiling and posing with the cat.
What if LeBron James, a man, a very powerful, top-notch basketball player who does a lot of business in China, what if he filed claims of sexual harassment or sexual misconduct? And what if he suddenly went missing? I will guarantee you that the National Basketball Association, elected officials around our country, around the world would be stepping up to say, where is LeBron James? And we wouldn't accept pictures of LeBron James sitting with a cat and at a little school with children just to say everything's okay. We need to hear from her directly and support her needs and her safety at this time.
China's foreign ministry had, until recently, continually maintained it was not aware of Peng's situation. But after her disappearance sparked international outcry, the ministry changed its tune, saying the controversy was, quote, maliciously hyped up and should not be politicized.
It's not the first, but it's amongst the first in China. And from a very powerful woman who has a voice, has an international presence. When she speaks up and the world begins to listen and women around the world begin to demand answers, that's not politicizing.
The international community has since applied pressure on Beijing. Several women's tennis players commented on Twitter, demanding proof of Peng's safety and an investigation into her allegation. U.S. President Biden also asked for verifiable proof of Peng's well-being last week, while the Women's Tennis Association says it's willing to pull out of China if Peng's case isn't investigated.
As long as her voice isn't being heard, as long as her claim of Me Too and sexual assault is not respected, then we should not be spending $1 supporting governmental officials who appear to be trying to cover this up.
Peng reappeared in public over the weekend, but so far, Chinese authorities have censored Peng's allegations and her online presence. Many says the concerns aren't going away.
And Democratic Senator Joe Manchin calls Biden's short-term fix an important policy band-aid for rising gas prices, but he wants Biden to do more. He's renewing his calls for Biden to restart the Keystone XL pipeline. The West Virginia senator, who also chairs the Senate's Energy and Natural Resources Committee, released a statement after Biden's announcement. He warns that Washington cannot jeopardize America's energy security. Manchin says Biden should, quote, responsibly increase energy production at home. Specifically, he wants to revive the Keystone XL pipeline, which the senator says would have provided close to 1 million barrels of oil per day. Manchin's stance on energy is crucial, considering many of Biden's clean energy proposals are in the Build Back Better bill, which the Senate will take up in a few weeks. If Manchin disagrees on just one piece of the proposal, it could mean it's tossed out. And in a major outlier to recent weekly jobless claims, last week's report, adjusted for seasonal swings, totaled 199,000. That's its lowest level in 52 years. Some economists say layoffs are hitting new lows as employers take measures to attract and hold on to workers. Overall, nearly 2.5 million people received government benefits under various programs in the week ending November 6th. That's down from 3.2 million the previous week. Despite the sharp drop in jobless filings, businesses continue to report hiring difficulties, and the labor force participation rate is still below pre-pandemic levels. And recreational marijuana won't be legalized in South Dakota, despite residents voting in favor of it in a ballot measure. The state Supreme Court is ruling against the legalization in a lawsuit filed on behalf of Governor Kristi Noem. NTD's Allison Lee has more.
The South Dakota Supreme Court on Wednesday upheld a lower court's decision to nullify a state constitutional amendment that would have legalized recreational marijuana. South Dakota voters approved the amendment by 54% in last year's general election. The same measure would have also required state lawmakers to legalize medical marijuana and the sale of hemp. In a 4-1 decision, the court ruled that the amendment would have violated the state's requirement that constitutional amendments deal with just one subject. Chief Justice Stephen Jensen wrote, "It's clear that Amendment A contains provisions embracing at least 3 separate subjects, each with distinct objects or purposes." Governor Kristi Noem is against legalizing recreational marijuana, and she launched a legal fight against it. She praised the court's decision, writing that South Dakota is a place where the rule of law and our Constitution matter, and that's what today's decision is about. We do things right, and how we do things matters just as much as what we are doing. Matthew Shuai, the campaign director of South Dakotans for Better Marijuana Laws, calls the ruling extremely flawed. He said in a statement, "The court has rejected common sense and instead used a far-fetched legal theory to overturn a law passed by over 225,000 South Dakota voters based on no logical or evidentiary support." Allison Lee, NTD News.
And also in Europe, Slovakia is heading into a full lockdown. The government approved a 2-week national lockdown amid a surge of virus infections.
The country's prime minister said the measures will take effect on Friday and target both unvaccinated and vaccinated.
It may take 90 days. You can understand it as you wish. 2 weeks of lockdown is the minimum. We're going to reconsider it after 10 days.
Under the lockdown, people can leave their homes only for specific reasons. These include buying essential goods, traveling to work and school, and getting vaccinated. The unvaccinated will be required to get tested to go to work unless they have recovered from COVID-19. Wednesday's announcement came after Slovakia set a new record for daily infections, but the country is also testing almost twice as much every day as they did around the same time last year.
A spacecraft designed to crash was launched last night on a NASA mission to demonstrate the world's first planetary defense system. Scientists sent out the craft to crash into an asteroid's moon, deflecting the moon from its orbit. This technology may one day be needed to stop a doomsday collision with Earth. We've got more from NTD's Lily Joe.
NASA has launched humanity's first asteroid deflection test mission. It's called the DART, or Double Asteroid Redirection Test, and it's hoped it might one day save Earth from incoming space rocks.
And this is the first time in history we can do something about it. We can learn how to both find those bodies and also hopefully to deflect them and kind of take them away from the danger zone of Earth.
4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Mission.
The DART blasted off from a California Space Force base Tuesday night local time. Its mission is to crash into an asteroid's moon, change its orbit period, and affect the timing of the moon moving around the asteroid.
We will see that by just changing that orbit, by measuring that orbit change, we will be able to derive really the most important quantity, which is how much of our momentum got imparted onto that small body, which of course in a danger situation is the most important question. You know, how much does it take to bump a rock out of the way given its size and speed?
NASA shared some good news earlier this year when it gave Earth the all-clear from menacing asteroids for the next century. But scientists believe only a third of such threats can be observed. When the DART spacecraft arrives in autumn next year, it will use autonomous navigation software to deliberately crash into the asteroid's moonlet at a speed of about 4 miles per second. Scientists hope the impact will change the speed of the moonlet's orbit around its main body by just a fraction of a percent, enough to alter its orbital period by several minutes. Lily Joe, NTD News.
New guidance from the UK's healthcare system asks doctors not to use antidepressants as their first choice for mild depression. It suggests they prioritize offering treatments such as meditation or behavioral therapy in consultation with the patient. The use of antidepressants has been steadily increasing in recent years, especially during the pandemic. Here's NTD's Joy Dogood with the details.
According to new NHS guidance, people suffering mild depression should be offered a choice of counselling sessions or group classes in things such as meditation, exercise, or behavioural therapy instead of antidepressants. The draft guidance from the National Institute for Health and Care Excellence says doctors shouldn't routinely offer antidepressant medication as first-line treatment for less severe depression, unless that is the person's preference. It calls on doctors to involve patients in conversations about what would suit them best, but says they should prioritise psychological treatments and behavioural therapy. Experts said the new draft guideline, which is subject to consultation, is the first in 12 years to identify, treat and manage depression in adults. The guideline also says medics should explain to a patient that if they want to stop taking antidepressants, the withdrawal may take weeks or months. The use of antidepressants in the UK has been steadily increasing since 2015. Figures from the NHS show that more than 20 million antidepressants were prescribed between October and December 2020, a 6% increase compared with the same 3 months in 2019. Joy Dogood, NTD News.
Thanks for watching us on YouTube. Don't forget to catch all of our programs on TV. NTD Evening News is on every weekday at 6:30 p.m. Find your local NTD channel at ntd.com/TV.